Hello, everyone. Something very special is happening right now. I recently made a video where I talked about one of the strangest things that ever happened on the internet, which is I guess you could call it the music video for the song David Duchovny, Why Won't You Love Me? The artist from that song then reached out to me and was like, hey, do you want to chat about whatever? And I said, yes, I absolutely do. Everybody, I'm going to get to talk to Bree Sharp today. She wrote that song. She's wrote a lot of other songs over the years. She's also re-releasing, this is a total coincidence, re-releasing that album, which is called A Cheap and Evil Girl. And the 25th anniversary of that album is coming out at the end of this month, at the end of March. She's also going on tour. She's going to be on tour March 21st in Los Angeles, March 22nd, also in Southern California in San Diego at House Concert, April 5th at the Bowery Electric in New York City, and April 6th in Wayne, Pennsylvania. We're going to talk about why you chose Wayne as your fourth tour stop. But first, I just want to say hello, Bree. How are you?
It's being billed as Philly, Hank.
Okay.
It's like just outside of Philly.
Okay.
It was a great venue. That's why we picked it.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Wait, I have a question that I didn't ask before we started. Are we just on our visuals with us, or is this going to be?
I'm going to use our visuals for everybody.
Okay, so hi. So don't pick my nose during the.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, got it.
I'll edit it out.
Thank you. I wanted to say first that the video that you made about the video that was about my song was so sweet, and I, full disclosure, did not know who you were, and
Yeah.
I've since done a deep dive on you, and you're adorable, and I love you, and I'm super honored that you picked that you liked it and picked it and made a video, and that you were kind enough to have me on your show. Thank you so much.
I want to tell you now about the other time I did something similar to this, which is a few years ago. Let's say 8 years ago, I had an idea for a YouTube video about a restaurant that my brother and I used to go to when we were growing up called Rax. It was like Arby's,
Where?
but different, in Orlando.
Rax, as in like the ribs of a being?
No, Rax, like RAX, and I couldn't tell you why.
Oh, okay.
As they went out of business, they did this absolutely horrendous marketing campaign with this man named Mr. Delicious, who was a gambling addict with a drug problem, who saw prostitutes all the time, and it was like, and had like hemorrhoids, and was like, but Rax.
He visited prostitutes, or he saw them. Like, I see prostitutes.
He just saw them around. Like, I guess we all do sometimes. Yeah. And I've never told anybody this story.
I love this.
I reached out to
Mr.
the guy
Delicious,
who was in charge of the Mr. Delicious advertising campaign, because I wanted to find out how such a terrible and idiotic advertising campaign could possibly have happened.
Wait, I don't like that this is the lead-in to why you reached out to me.
No.
Hang on, wait, time out. Is this a punked?
and so I found him on LinkedIn, and I sent him a message, and he was like, oh my God, that campaign was such genius, and it was so smart, and I love it so much. And I had to wait 5 years after sending that message to then make the video about how I thought this advertising campaign was the final nail in the coffin of Rax. Because I felt so bad.
Please don't do that for my 30th anniversary.
No, I will not. And so when I had the idea to do this, which was kind of a similar thing, just like a look at a thing, like a moment that happened in the past that was really
weird. Except you liked it.
And exceptional, but in a different direction it was good. And I love it. It makes me happy.
Thank you.
And Mr. Delicious makes me happy in his own way. I was like, I get to do that video, except this time, no one's feelings are going to get hurt, because this is just pure delight.
I'm definitely naming my next cat Mr. Delicious. It's a fantastic name.
It's really good.
Yeah.
You can learn all about Mr. Delicious.
I feel a new single coming on. Mr. Delicious, you're so suspicious.
Yes, hit it.
Got a million of them. One of the reasons I wanted to talk to you was because people don't really know the behind the music story of how
Oh,
all those
there is
things
more.
yeah, it's crazy. It's bananas. And one of the reasons that it it didn't get known or heard more is because in the middle of my album cycle, I was on an independent label that was like under Interscope, and
Hmm.
they had I don't want to throw any other bands under the bus, but they had another band that was really big, and their first album made a ton of dough, and they took all that dough and they put it into their second album, and their second album tanked, and my label went bankrupt in the middle of my album cycle.
Whoa.
So that's why like things were going up, 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 and
That's
then
the music industry, especially 25 years ago. Now
they
everything
disappeared.
is terrible in other ways.
Yeah. I think there's some videos online about that you might have made. So I was on Trauma Records. They had No Doubt, and then No Doubt went to
Hmm.
Interscope. And my
Yeah.
story, my backstory is also bananas. I was at NYU studying theater. I always wanted to be an actor. I had no plans of being a musician. I
Hmm.
was singing and writing songs in my dorm room because a guy hurt my feelings,
Sure.
and I had to
His name
express
is
them.
David. He was an FBI agent.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And and this girl heard me singing. She moved in next door, and she heard me singing through the walls, and she kept
Hmm.
saying, "I love your voice. You got to get me a demo. My dad's in the business." And I'm like,
Wow.
yeah, but I was like, A, I'm not interested. B, your dad is in the like, who's your dad? You know what I mean? I just figured it was like, Ferris's best friend's
It's
cousin's neighbor saw
it's
Ferris
better
pass
than
out last
like
night at
I'm in
31
the
Flavors.
business. I'm in
Yeah.
the business is like yeah, it's a big red flag.
Yeah,
But my
yeah.
dad's in the business. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. Well, I was young and a bit of a schmuck, and
Sure.
I did not pay it any mind. And she hocked me for about a year. And then at the same time, she was telling her father, and it turns out her dad was the lawyer for Death Row Records and like really good
Mm,
friends with Jimmy Iovine, who, for those
mm.
of you who may not know, is like one of the biggest music producers from the 70s and then started Interscope Records. And she got her dad to convince Jimmy Iovine to give me $5,000 to go record my demo. Some yuts who didn't know was not like pursuing music.
Yeah.
So I went in, I did these demos. I got signed by this label. I had I think the reason the album has persisted outside of David Duchovny is because it really is full of heartache and longing and other catchy pop tunes.
Hmm.
And so I did have a larger thing of work that got me the
Right.
record deal than just this
Yeah.
sort of novelty song, which to me was not a novelty song. Just FYI, I meant it.
I mean, yeah, I also, I don't know if you know, but I am for a while was a novelty songwriter and
No,
performer.
what's your
Yeah.
novelty song?
Oh no, I mean it was many. I have 4 studio albums, if you can believe that fact.
Oh, okay. I need to
None of
continue
them,
my deep dive on Hank
none of them came
Green.
out. None of them came out on any normal record labels. But I had a couple of Harry Potter hits in the way that you had an X
Yes,
Files hit,
yes.
and I also wrote like sciencey songs
Hank,
about
I
like
have so many. My
physics.
follow-up band has so many science songs and sci-fi
Yeah,
songs. Yes, I have. I started a band after. Well, just fast forward for a minute.
yeah.
After all that went kaput, a band called Beautiful Small Machines, and
Yeah.
the first album is Robots in Love. It's got a superconductor on it. It's got Counting Back to One, which has Ender's Game references all over it.
Mm.
Maybe we need to
I saw
do.
that book right behind you.
Maybe we need to do a little
Well,
sci-fi
I haven't
music
written a
tour.
song in so long.
No, I'm
It's
not
so
saying a
sad.
collab. I'm saying we
Oh,
should do
okay.
a live night
Get on the
somewhere.
road? Hell
Well, at
yeah.
least a night of
Hell yeah.
nerdy
I
science music. Are you kidding?
If you're ever somewhere that has a nonstop flight from Missoula, let me know. For some reason, I live in Montana, which does put a damper on every activity I could possibly enjoy.
We will have one person in the audience. Okay. So anyway, back to 1998.
Mm-hmm.
So I record these. I get the deal.
Yeah.
David Duchovny, I write a demo. We're just doing the demos, and somehow the demo I believe, I don't remember now if it was a cassette or a CD. It probably was like a burned CD, but
Uh-huh.
it got to him, and I don't know how.
That's
And it's
wild.
wild. And
From
actually,
the label before it was released
no,
publicly?
no, I don't know if someone leaked it or what. I don't know. I don't know. But you know what? I'm going to be on David's podcast on Friday,
Oh,
so
wow.
maybe I can get
Yeah.
some intel.
If he remembers.
If he
Yeah.
will, I don't know. He wants me to sing the song, and he's gonna. I don't know how much he wants to talk to me. I think he
I
wants to
didn't
talk to
know
me,
I
talk to me
didn't know
more.
he had a
But
podcast
I
even.
didn't know he had a podcast either. That's what I said. I was like, everybody's got a podcast. Of course he has a
Yeah.
podcast. So, but anyway, okay. So he gets the song, and a little while later, so between the demo version of the song and us recording it and the album getting ready to come out, we get a phone call. My manager gets a phone call from the assistants of the producer of the X-Files saying,
Yes.
we would like to make a recording for David with the cast and crew of the X-Files lip syncing the song for a Christmas
Yeah.
present.
Great.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm okay with that.
I'm
That sounds great.
22. I have been watching this show with a
I
girl.
can't believe you were
I have been
22.
watching
It's
this
so
show
wild.
with a girl boner for like
Yeah.
several years, and they're like, "Can we use your thing for the cast and crew to lip sync?" I was like, "Are you?" I peed my pants. So we were cool. We were like, "Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, you can use it."
Man, I got to tell you,
Okay.
listening to this song when I was
Yeah, how old were you?
19 or 20.
Okay.
And
Were you in Montana?
I was in St. Petersburg, Florida at Eckerd College.
Wow. And I'm dying to know how you got to the song, but continue.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Just because I was very online. I also had a friend named Linnea who was like peak X-Files nerd, like competed in like X-Files trivia competitions globally. And
Nice.
I don't remember very much else about Linnea, but I remember her name and that she was very into
I
X-Files.
hope she's listening.
And so there's a good chance that it involved Linnea. But my mom and I would like watch X-Files when I was in high school.
My
Like, it was one of
songwriting
our thing.
partner and I watched it, and we
Yeah.
dated for a long time because of the show. We were
Good.
we ended up holding hands just because we were scared, and then we dated out of that. He's still my best friend. He's still my best friend.
It's wild.
Unlike
because
Linnea, whose whereabouts are unknown.
Just who knows?
Yeah.
When I heard it, it felt so sort of plopped out from by the universe into my lap. And also it felt very like, I don't know, I assumed you were a full-on adult, but I guess
Oh, interesting.
that's
well, a
just how-
22-year-old
yeah.
woman to a 19-year-old man. I mean, I was
Basically, yes, it's
basically
true.
it was
Yeah.
Mrs. Robinson.
Mhm.
So okay, so they say, can we do this? And we say, of course. So however long later, they say, we're coming to New York. This all happened in LA. They say, we're coming to New York, and we're going to bring you a VHS tape of this, and
Mhm.
we cannot leave it with you. Okay, yeah. So they come
Sure.
in, they come to my manager's loft, and we all gather around, stick the tape in the machine. And as you know, it starts off, it's very dark and grainy, and there's people
Yeah.
that we don't know who they are. They're like friends
Yeah,
of the
cast and crew,
They're not
yeah.
the cast and crew. They're
Crew.
like friends.
They're not even crew.
No,
They're
they're
friends of these
just
assistant guys.
Yes. And
Yes.
and me, who was like in acting school, I was like, bro, why didn't you? If you were just gonna use like a girl, why didn't you use me? And I was like, it's so dark. I'm God bless them for making this video, but all honesty,
Yeah.
I was like embarrassed for the first like couple minutes. I was like, "Oh my god, this is horrendous." And then it goes to like it cuts to medieval times and there's medieval knights that are
Yeah. It's so
fighting and
weird.
they're lip syncing and then there's these old ladies and it's super bizarre, but it starts to get kind of funny. And then you hit the bridge and it's Smoking Man and Lone Gunman and Scully comes out. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, okay, it's fine that they did whatever the choices they made in the beginning. This is amazing. I've been watching this show and here they are and they're lip syncing my song. This is bananas. Wow. And then it goes back to the girls that we don't know. And
Yeah.
had it stopped at that, I would have been a very, very happy person.
Yeah.
I would have felt
But
amazing.
then it gets so
And
much weirder.
it get all of a sudden, so then the outro hits, and all of a sudden, there's Janine Garofalo, and I'm like, what? I was like, that's Janine
Why?
Garofalo, and I was a
Why
huge,
is
huge. I spent all my nights at the Boston Comedy Club and the Comedy Cellar, which is still there, just watching all these
Mhm.
comics, and so
Mm.
the fact that like David Spade showed up in it and Kevin Nealon, like those were
Yeah.
big. The SNL people was a big deal for me. But I'm like, oh my god, that's Janine Garofalo, and then it's Jerry O'Connell, and then it's Alex Trebek, and then Clooney shows up, and then Brad Pitt in his Tyler Durden outfit with the broken tooth and everything are lip syncing his song.
Before Fight Club comes out.
He's filming it. It's insane. And then Charles Nelson Riley is in it. Charles
Wild.
Nelson Riley. What a random smattering of people. And then, if my head were not about to explode already, all 4 members of Kiss in full face makeup are singing this song.
Is
Such
another era when like you could get these people, like this was the
Right.
one moment when you
Yeah.
could get it like literally could never have happened before or ever since.
I don't know. It could not happen now. That's
Yeah.
for sure. And you might be able to tell we've just met, but I am not often at a loss for words. And I was speechless. We
Yeah.
watched it 4 times in a row.
And then they took it away.
And then they left. And I was like, no one's gonna believe me. No one will believe that.
It's
If I
amazing
start
that they were
listing
so
these people.
Yeah, they
They're
were so careful about it.
Yeah.
But then somebody leaked it.
I guess they were like, we will get you a copy, but we can't
Okay.
leave this one with you. So they did get me a
Gotcha.
copy,
Okay.
and then it started to circulate. But like you said in your video, it was pre-internet. And so it was not something that was easily shared. And that photo of you in your college dorm room is adorable. Is that like an Apple IIe? I don't know what you're in front of. You're just so
no, that was like
sweet.
a 386.
It's super sweet. Super
Yeah.
cute and sweet. I love it.
Yeah, no. I look at that picture sometimes and I'm like, wow, there's so much in here. So many like little details
Yes.
of my insane life.
Yeah, kind of like the background of your studio right now.
Yeah, yes. It turns out I like it like that.
Yes, exactly. We were in talks with his people to either meet on the Rosie O'Donnell show because she had a talk show at the time.
Sure. Yep.
Or we were going to meet on that show, or he was going to host SNL and I would be the musical guest.
Wow.
Now that haunts me. Haunts me. And then the label went bankrupt and it fucking disappeared. And here I am.
Oh.
Here I am.
I have one of those from my life. One of those.
Oh, tell me.
It's a moment like that.
Okay.
No, it's a moment like that where like this big dream is about to come true, and then like some external factor comes in and is like, help.
What was? Do you want to share it?
I almost sold. I started a blog and I almost sold it to Scientific American and like became a reporter for Scientific American, which was a dream of mine when I was growing up. And then the financial crisis happened like 3 months later, and the deal didn't go through.
I mean, there's a couple ways to look at it, right? Like on the one hand, you say like I got farther than most people. Yeah. And I had a great ride, and I'm still having a great ride. I mean, sure. I had a whole career. I have a voiceover career. I've been a voice actor for the last 12 years and I love it. And there's so many other things that came out of that, and even this week is amazing.
Yeah.
So it's, it's not like all was lost, but knowing that was on the table was really tough.
Yeah.
And then okay, so now there's the part 2 of the story,
Uh-huh.
is because we were supposed to meet on one of these shows and that didn't happen. I suddenly never met David Duchovny. And people would come up to me all the time and be like, "Did you ever meet David Duchovny?" And I would be like, "No, I never met him. Thank you so much for asking. I only
Mhm.
really, really, really got really close and really wanted to, and I never did." And then and then the years were going by, and they'd be like, "Oh, hey, guess what? My cousin knows David from Pilates," and I'd be like, "Good for your fucking cousin." And then they'd be like, "Oh, my friend met him on the Foxlat," and I'd be like, "Good for your fucking friend." I was like,
What
it just
what
got
if though you figured out what Pilates studio David Duchovny went to and you just
Okay,
started going?
so this is what
That
happened.
would be like
Okay,
actually pretty uncool.
yes, it would be uncool, and it would be uncool, and not only that, and I at some point lost my verve for him and the song
Yeah,
because it just had,
you know.
yes, I had sung
Well,
it so
I
many
forgot a
times.
fact, Bree. I have to tell
Okay,
you a fact I forgot,
I
which is
love
the
facts.
first song that I ever wrote, recorded, and released. So I'd written other songs, but the first song I ever released is basically David Duchovny, Why Won't You Love Me, but about Helen Hunt.
I don't want to know what it rhymes with.
Stunts. It rhymes with stunts. Amazing.
You have such a
But yeah,
sweet mind.
I never put it together that I basically was like, that novelty song about David Duchovny, I want to do that. But for my heartthrob,
That's
Helen
funny.
Hunt for Mad About You.
Oh, one of the I just did a scripted podcast, and she was one of the actors in it.
I also have like
Full
ships
circle.
passed in the night with her a bunch and never.
Really?
I don't know that I'd like to. I don't know that I'd want to. I
Yeah.
think it freaked me out too much.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like, yeah. So okay, so here is how I did finally meet him. Do you want would you Are you
Yeah,
interested in that
hit me.
story? Okay.
Of course.
So these years are going by. I'm losing my
Mm-hmm.
Duchovny
Yeah.
essence,
Sure.
and everyone's meeting him, and I'm not, and I'm like, I'm never gonna meet him. So whatever. I'm just done. I'm over it. And it had been about 7 years since the album had come out and the video and all this stuff. And I was living in the West Village in Manhattan, and someone was like, "Hey, I saw David Duchovny at Equinox, which is this very kind of upscale gym in my
Mm-hmm.
neighborhood, which I, of course, did not have a membership to. It was a super fancy gym."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Great, I don't belong to Equinox. That's awesome." And people are telling me, though I spotted him here, there, and the other. I was like, whatever. One night, I'm out to dinner, and I'm with Donnie, who's my songwriting partner and best friend, and another couple. And the restaurant has big windows all the way across. And we're sitting there eating, and all of a sudden, who comes walking by?
That's freaking New York.
David
That's
Duchovny. And I said,
wild.
"Oh my God." I was like, "That's David Duchovny." I was like, "What do I do? What do I do? Do I get up? Do I like go after him? Like, am I gonna? And they're like, yeah, go, go, go." And by the time I made the decision to stand up, walk through all the people in the restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
go through the double doors, he's a block away, at least a block away. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna start running after David Duchovny?
Yeah.
So I start running. And I always think would be such a funny moment if like one of my fans had been on the street, just like going
Uh-huh.
like, "Hey, there's David Duchovny." And
You're
there's
just
Bree
like,
Sharp running after him. Yeah. I was like, she can never catch him. That poor girl. He's still trying. So I run after him. I am about to tap him on the shoulder, and he busts a left into the fancy Equinox gym, which
oh,
I do not have a membership to. As I said, I bust past the registration desk.
oh my
keep going,
God.
and I'm about to tap him on the shoulder, and he walks into the men's locker room, and I
Yeah.
am standing there with a look on my face of like, I'm never going to meet this. How is
Yeah.
this my life?
Oh my
And
God.
I stand there. Found someone to talk to. I was like, please talk to me for 2 minutes. Just please. And sure enough, 2 minutes later, he comes out. I have this, I have this image in my head. I'll never
This is
get this
great
image
because it
out of
is
my
like
head.
truly stalker behavior.
I
It's like you became the character in the
didn't
song.
mean to. Not my fault.
No,
We
no.
were supposed to meet as peers on SNL. Didn't
That's
fucking
right.
happen. Now I'm chasing him into a thing.
Hmm.
Okay. He comes out of the bathroom wearing nothing but a towel around his waist.
Wow.
And it's not a big old bath towel. It's one of those itty bitty gym towels. And I'm just going to tell you right now,
What?
whatever crush I had on him that had dwindled over the years
Uh-huh.
came right back. I don't know what he was doing those Pilates. That's all I'll say. He's standing there all ripply and in his little towel. And I watch him walk like into the gym or whatever. And people are like, why didn't you say anything? And I was like, I was not about to stand there in the fluorescent lights
Yeah.
of the gym where you can see into your pores and into your soul and be like, and while he is half naked and be like, oh, hey, I'm the girl that wrote the song about you. So I go back to the
Oh
restaurant.
my
I'm
God.
dejected. My shoulders are
Uh-huh.
down. My head is down. And I'm like,
You just didn't even say anything. You just like saw him be hot.
I saw him be hot and I
That's
thought, I'm never going to meet him. I go back to dinner. I sit down and I'm like, what was he doing in a towel? Was he swimming? Was he getting a
yeah, good
massage?
point.
How long
Yeah.
does it take to do those things? Is he going to come back? Will he be back in an hour? Do I wait? What do I do? 20 minutes later, hair dry. I still to this day don't know what the hell he was doing. There goes David Duchovny walking by the window
With
again
clothes on this
with
time.
clothes. And I say, I'm going. I get up. I go through the restaurant. I bust through the double doors just as he is right as I'm opening the door. There he is. And I say, stop. I said, you have to stop walking by. And he looks at me and I said, hi. And he goes, hi. Like,
Yeah. Well, I'm David Duchovny. This happens to me
but
a fair
also
amount.
like squinty eyes. Like, who
Yeah.
is this crazy person?
Please don't bug me. Yeah.
Exactly. And I said, I put my hand out and I said, Bree. And he said, hi. And I said, sharp. And he said, we
Oh.
finally meet. And I said,
Oh,
we
Bree.
finally
That
meet.
was ballsy.
Yeah.
To just say your name instead of being like, I am this person.
I knew he knew who I was.
Yeah.
He had been written up in the trades for getting caught listening to his own song. So
I'd do it.
Yeah,
I'd do it.
Yeah. Hank Green, that's my next song. Hank Green, tell us what you mean.
That
Yeah.
sounds wonderful.
So
I
now you have all the stories.
I have the whole story. And also I have 2 minutes before my next meeting starts, which I do have to go to.
Yeah.
I love to have my job, except for the part where I also have to run a bunch of businesses.
You do so many things. I was
know.
looking and it's
exhausting.
truly incredible. I don't know where you get the energy, but I read that you maybe have ADD, so that helps. Question mark?
I've never lacked for energy. So I don't know. Whatever I have, it's working, is what I say.
It's definitely working, and you're
Yeah.
so kind to extend me the invitation to tell these stories.
Well, you can listen to A Cheap and Evil Girl on Spotify, but it's being re-released as a 25th anniversary edition at the end of the month. What formats is it going to be in, Bree?
Well, it's never been released on vinyl, and it's out on vinyl. It's made eco-friendly, and there's a bonus track that's never been heard
Ooh.
before from the same era that didn't make it on the album. It's a great song. I love it, and I can't wait to play these songs in their entirety at these upcoming shows.
And you're also going on tour. You're going to be in Los Angeles, San Diego, New York, and Philly.
And Philly,
I've heard that it's
just
Philly.
outside of Philly.
And you can find you at Beautiful Small Machines on Instagram.
Yes.
And probably other places too.
There's a dummy account out there that has an underscore. So no underscore.
Watch out for that one.
So yeah. So what was the end of I guess you don't have time now.
At
So
the end of what?
how you ended up, how you heard the song. You just think that it came your way. Like you didn't hear it on the radio. It wasn't from the
No,
radio.
no, it was from the internet. I was
Wow.
very early, like anything that was happening on the internet, I was obsessed with. And it was in that, to me, it's in the vein, I don't know, do you remember or are you aware of All Your Bass Are Belong to Us?
All your bass are belong to us.
Your song was, it felt like of the same
Oh,
moment where
I
it was
love
like,
that. I'm so honored. Oh my
okay.
God, that's so cool.
The cool things that the internet was making possible was like, oh, this thing exists and I would never know about it unless, and I had like high-speed internet at this college campus, and I was like one of the first people in the world to have high-speed internet.
Wow. What else did you
And I mean like
what else
high-speed internet,
what else did you look up? Helen
anime.
Hunt ... What?
That's a lot of anime, just huge amounts.
Okay, so wait, this is the other thing. Did you know that I sang a song for Pokemon? And
No.
wrote and song for Pokemon, and also a show called Mew Mew Power, Tokyo Mew Mew Power.
I don't know that one.
And I was the teleplay writer for Magical Do Re Mi. These were all Fox Saturday morning anime cartoons.
Wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
We all have our lives, don't we, Bree?
I'm just, I mean, I didn't mean to say too much about my own stuff, but I thought there was cool
Yeah,
crossover
no,
stuff.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I have a friend who it turns out like did the voice for one of my favorite anime, and I didn't know it until
What was
like
it?
it's called Kodomo no Omocha. Kodocha. It's about like
Namocha or Kodocha? Let's get it right here.
it's shortened to Kodocha is what people
Okay.
tend to call it.
Kombucha squash. Okay.
Kombucha.
Kombucha.
Yeah, and I was like, you did that? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, that is one of my, and she was like, it's fine. It's not a big deal. Stop making it a big deal.
That's so cool. I think I'm going to start going to and playing some of these songs at the Comic-Cons.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I've just been talking to
Oh, man.
someone who books all that stuff.
One of my favorite things
I'm
is
telling you got to come and we'll do sci-fi song. Are you kidding? This is a hit waiting to happen.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
What were you going to say? One of your favorite ones?
One of my favorite things is like the weird dance parties that Comic-Cons have where they just play intros to anime and songs that are featured in media.
They do
and
that?
People dance like idiots. It's so good.
I didn't know that was a thing.
So I mean, it isn't always, but it has been at several that I've gone to.
I just played an X-Files convention. That was my first like con.
Oh wow!
And I'm ready to do more.
I can't believe that's your first con.
It was my first con.
That's lame that you have not been invited to a ton of cons.
It's not in the pros column that I haven't been invited to the cons.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Are you gonna hang up on me now? Are you gonna
yeah, I think that's probably for the best.
Unsubscribe.
There's a bunch of people waiting for me.
Hashtag, oh, I have more meetings. Sorry, gotta go.
Bree, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everybody,
so much.
check out the album, and if you can, check out one of those tour dates.
Hell yeah.